the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on this Wednesday morning, and we're glad that you've joined us whenever and wherever it is that you tune us in and make Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake here on social media. Faith, good to see you this morning, which is really tonight, the night before. Here we go again when we do these recordings. So we do give our disclaimer. This was taped last night, so can comment away. We love it, but we won't be able to respond. But we can kind of anticipate what you're going to say. How about that? We're going to look into our crystal ball since we're talking about recruiting. But Faith, good to see you.
Hi, good to see you. Long time no see.
Buckle up your seatbelt. Buckle your seatbelt, right?
Buckle your seatbelt.
All right, we do have a lot to talk about. We had a big day yesterday, and we'll talk about that again on the road, and then we'll be back on the road here today, visiting with some more of the top 10 prospects here in the state of Alabama with On the Front Row with Faith, that feature. So we want to make sure everybody knows where to go find those on our YouTube channel. And if you haven't seen the ones already, I don't know what you're waiting on. So go check those out. We always get started with our great partners, and we start with Sensagreen.
Sensagreen, for air that's cool and clean, call them Sensagreen. They are the carrier dealers for the state of Alabama and a proud supporter of the Auburn Blitz podcast and proud supporters of Auburn athletics. It's disgustingly hot outside now because of all the rain that we've been having. So getting ahead of it while your unit still actually works, call Sensagreen and get a carrier unit because they're going to be able to save you thousands of dollars on the installation process and everything. And you want to have good people there that are actually, reliable, that you can count on and you can call. And we love our guys over at Sensagreen.
No doubt about it. Uncle T-Bone especially. Scout Program Management, a full-service construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama, but really serving the Southeast, and they have a ton of big projects going on. They always do. They get hired because they are the professionals, and they know how to carry you from the pre-construction phase all the way to the finished product when you get the keys to your facility. The last thing you want is a building, multi-million-dollar facility that has a bunch of problems. You want everything done correctly. They are why you hire them. They are the ones that come in and make sure everything's done correctly and up to scale and kind of ease your mind so you don't have to worry about all that stuff. So call on Scout Program Management. Glad to have them part of the Auburn Blitz podcast. And
Bunkers. Guys, Bunkers is finally going to be open today. So if you head out to the golf course to watch round 3 at Auburn, you can head over to Bunkers after because you might be kind of warm. It might be a little hot outside.
And it will be open.
That's my point, right where I was headed. You can wrap up this whole Auburn golf tournament that we'll be talking about later at Bunkers, and you can show off your skills there. But guess what? You won't have the crowd to watch and judge. And I heard you get a little bit better after you go to the bar once or twice. So you don't have to wait for the cart girl to come around. Head on over. They've got 2 bars now. And I was telling Brett today, or maybe it was, I don't know when I told him, but the ball moves. And guess what? I don't know if they're going to have that fixed at Bunkers, but I guess if you have a few drinks, it doesn't move as much. I don't really know.
Or does it move more?
I don't know. I think it doesn't move as much as what I've heard.
Okay. That's fair. Guess what? Also, Bunkers has plenty of parking spots. You don't have to worry about fighting.
50.
Having a fight for a parking spot like we did yesterday at the golf tournament. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. We got our steps in yesterday at AU Club, so make sure you go on out today, final round. We will go into that a little bit later on in the program. You can go to our Instagram and check out the interviews that we got yesterday as the team came off the 18th green, caught up with Carson Baca and Jackson Coyven and Coach Kleiner. It was good to see all three of those guys and talk to them. Had good rounds yesterday, looking to finish strong today to win the regional at AU Club. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later in the show. But let's talk about some official visitors. And we did that yesterday. We didn't really run down a list of guys yesterday, but we did kind of talk about some of the ones that will be in on some of the bigger names that will be here. We talked about 3 edge guys that will be part of this. And then we talked about Landon Duckworth, the quarterback, being part of this group that will be coming in this Friday. Got some big names, some guys that Auburn is really, really trying to place a priority on, obviously. And again, we talked about Vodney Cleveland yesterday. I want to start back there again. A lot of people think he may be the top priority there on defense, another big defensive lineman from Parker High School, with Jordan Crawford being at Auburn. I told you that I thought Jordan Crawford was one of the best defensive linemen I've ever watched in high school. And I kind of hesitate to say best ever in anything, because I think that phrase gets thrown around loosely and everything's like, oh, he's the best I've ever seen. Oh, and then, 2 weeks later, oh, that guy's the best I've ever seen. Now, I really believe at the high school level that Jordan Crawford was one of the most dominant defensive linemen I've ever watched in person. Been doing HSA stuff for 25 years. Faith here in the States, I've seen some really good defensive linemen, but Jordan Crawford was outstanding. Glad Auburn picked him up. Now his teammate, Vodney Cleveland, 6'3", 305 pounds. There's going to be a lot trying to garner his commitment, but Auburn's going to have to battle the likes of Texas and Miami and Georgia, Florida. He's got official visits to all of those places. And, of course, he's got an official visit coming up here with Auburn first. So
Florida is really putting in the work this year. That is just a name that we have heard floating around a lot recently.
Billy Napier.
I know. It's just, I feel like this feature is just, I feel like, I guess, put a new perspective into things for me. And they're on the hunt down there.
Well, if you look at Florida right now, since you brought them up, and you know how many commitments they have for the 26 class right now? One. So I don't know if they're a little panicked. They finished the season pretty strong. They've got DJ Lagway coming back. So I think if he's healthy, I think Florida has a chance to really kind of right the ship down there. But about midway through the season, Billy Napier may have been a guy that I thought wouldn't make it through the season. He was a guy that I thought, man, this thing has failed so miserably for him at Florida. They're going to fire him before the season's over. But things turned around. And, now on the recruiting trail, he knows that he's got to make a splash, and he's got to continue to build a roster down there at Florida. So, yeah, you're right. I think Florida and Texas A&M are two names that we have heard everywhere we've gone. We were at Booker T. Washington yesterday, and one of the guys that we're going to talk about, Marquez Daniel, who you interviewed, he's got 2 official visits, Auburn and Florida. So you're right. I mean, they're jumping in with a lot of in-state guys, and they're getting them to schedule an OV with them. So that's all you can do. And so Florida has a very storied football history, especially in the last 30 years. And, they've got great facilities. It's a destination place. So they got all the things that you need. They're kind of in a show me mode as well, like Auburn is. Auburn, it's time to to show me what you can do. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. We're going to go through a fan survey that 24/7 put out a few weeks ago. I thought was fun. We haven't really talked about it. We'll kind of give our 2 cents on some of those questions. We won't go through all of them, but some of the ones we feel like are pertinent to the season coming up. But I thought you bring up a good point about Florida. They really, I mean, they've always been, someone you've got to worry about. Auburn does well in the state of Florida, but Florida does well in the state of Alabama, and of course Georgia does too, and LSU. I mean, we talked to another player yesterday. You did. I didn't. I kind of talked to him a little bit, but Dylan Purr talked about how he's pretty much eliminated all his visits. He's 100% committed to LSU.
100% committed there. And I mean, I didn't ask too much about why he closed everything off so quick, but I mean, he was supposed to take 5 visits, and then once he committed, he was like, all right, that's it, no more. I was like, oh, okay,
no doubt about it. Got his mind made up, really likes LSU, and again, different strokes for different folks. He doesn't need to go see anybody else, and he's dialed in, and that's where he wants to go. And you know what? You gotta tip your hat. All right, a position that we haven't talked a lot about, but I think needs to be talked about, Faith, is running back. We going into this season, I mean, you lose Jarquez Hunter, who was the best running back in the SEC last year, and now you got running back by committee. Who is Auburn going to add in this class at the running back position? Well, they've got a couple that'll be coming in that, again, project to be, top guys. And looking at from a running back position, Derek Cooper from Hollywood, Florida. He's a high 4-star. He's, according to 24/7, the number 2 running back in the country. So 6'1", 205. He's got a laundry list of offers, like a lot of these guys. But we'll see. I mean, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State, all are in, but Auburn going to be getting an official visit from Derek Cooper coming up this Friday. So I think that's a big one. I mean, anytime you can get them, it's like Jason said the other day, if you can't get an official visit, you got no chance. We talked about that with Emmanuel Iheanacho, and when he changed things up to add Auburn and LSU, and he knocked out Alabama and somebody else, that I thought that was a big deal. I mean, it makes a statement.
Yeah, another one from another running back that's coming the same weekend, this weekend, is Jay Lamar from Moultrie, Georgia. And just like you said, Georgia and Florida State are also highly pursuing them, along with Miami and Clemson. But again, just bringing them in just for the visit is.
Well, and, you and I talked about this and when guys schedule their official visits, and, just like with Sedarian, we talked about him being in Colorado this past weekend. And is it a big deal to get somebody in first or to get them in at the very end? We're getting him in first on May 16th, and I'm talking about Jay Lamar. A lot of people feel like he's going to be hard to pull out of the state of Georgia, away from the Bulldogs. He has his final official visit on June 20th with Georgia. Mm-hmm. So when you add all that up, it doesn't give you a warm and fuzzy. But when you've got them on your campus, you got to put on the dog and pony show. And Coach Nix is his lead recruiter. We all know that Coach Nix is a very, very good recruiter. Good relationship with Jay Lamar. And Auburn does well in Georgia, and they do well over in Colquitt County. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's 2 pretty big running back prospects that will be in this coming up weekend.
205 pounds. That's just a bowling ball right there.
It is. And then you look up at Derek Cooper, he's 6'1", 205. So you got two big time guys there coming in. We talked about Trenton Henderson. We talked about edge rushers, but Trenton Henderson's a guy that you've heard a lot about, especially being the proximity to Auburn from Pensacola. I mean, he's the number 3 edge rusher in the country, the number 3 player in Florida. His official visits are LSU, Michigan, Florida, and USC. But he will visit Auburn first here this weekend. And Coach Bellatone's his lead recruiter there. And, this is the class of edge rushers, Faith. Trenton Henderson,
no doubt.
Hezekiah Harris.
Talked about it a lot, yeah.
One that you're going to see today and talk to. And
yes.
Jaquez Wilkes from Wadley. Just a bunch of really Tank Jones. You've already talked with him. I mean, these guys are all projected top edge rushers in this class, and you ain't getting all of them. But can you get one, maybe 2 of them?
Mm-hmm.
I would say watch, and we'll find out a little bit more today. We'll have a better feel, I think, after we talk to Jaquez. But I'm interested to see when he might be willing to pull the trigger on a commitment. So hopefully you'll be able to get that out of him a little bit later on today when we go visit at Wadley.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see.
Tank didn't give us much. I mean, he's going to be narrowing his schools down pretty soon. But you got Trenton Henderson and Tank Jones coming in this weekend. So that's 2 pretty big targets.
I feel like he should totally be narrowing it down right before he's taking his visits.
Right. He doesn't even have any listed really right now. So it's kind of he's kind of a quiet, reserved, secretive kind of guy. And, his demeanor is he kind of keeps all his information close to himself and his family, which is fine. You talk to a lot of these guys and, I've seen that kind of be the trend, that they're not very open about, and I get it because, they're trying to make a decision based on the things that they're learning from these OVs or their relationships with coaches and, and then their family and the input. You talked to Marquez yesterday, and that's what he said. I mean, it's a big deal for, and Dylan too. I mean, even about LSU, about how his mom was such a big influence on helping him make a decision and feeling comfortable with the relationships he built down there.
Yeah, and it's something that you don't really think about as much, but especially when you've got family that wants to move where you're going to, because if you're an only kid or something like that, it's like, well, they want to come and watch you play. They want to see how well you do. And it's hard being a freshman and going all alone.
No doubt about it. We know how important defensive line is. We talked about Vodney Cleveland already, but Bryce Perry Wright, we've heard a lot about from Buford, Georgia. There's Buford again. I mean, they just are a football factory, and they continue to put out top players year after year after year. And Bryce Perry Wright, 6'2", 250 pounds. Again, is a Buford and Grayson, and those schools are always going to be targets because of the talent. I mean,
they're just known for it, and that's just how it is. They weren't too close to where I was from, so we didn't have to see them all that often, which was nice. But
that's probably a good thing.
Oh, every time we did, it was actually the saddest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. But yeah, they're powerhouses over there that just produce these guys. And again, you see it with Bryce Perry Wright. He's headed to A&M, Texas, Miami, Clemson, and Auburn for his OVs. So,
and his last OV is Texas A&M. So he'll be in the state of Texas back-to-back weekends, June 13th and June 20th. Again, just because you're going on official visits doesn't mean a guy can't commit before he goes on an OV.
Right.
You know, if he's blown away by his visit at Auburn, he may commit and then say, look, I'm going to take the rest of my visits, but I really like this field. So it doesn't mean that because somebody is coming to you on their first OV that they can't go ahead and commit. There's no rule about that. There's no even unwritten rule about it. I mean, we see it happen quite a bit, actually, that guys will commit and then they'll go ahead and take their official visits. And
Yeah, I mean, I
move
think
on.
it's a good thing too to go do that just because, again, you get to just have a free trip out of it. And
Absolutely.
who knows? I mean, if you haven't gone over there and actually visited and talked with a bunch of people, you might have your mind switched off.
Absolutely. No doubt
Who
about it.
knows?
Absolutely. And another, we haven't talked about offensive line very much, but you got, you know, a couple of big targets there. One that's committed to South Carolina, and Zion Gills from Hemingway, South Carolina, 6'5", 280 pounds. He will be in on an OV. And then Dalton Toothman from Ocean Springs, Mississippi, 6'5", 295. A 3-star, but a guy that I think Auburn is really pushing hard for. And he's got official visits scheduled to Clemson, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. So the 2 in-state schools, and then Auburn and Clemson will be his OVs. But again, offensive line, defensive line always tend to be, I mean, I hate to say it like a broken record, but when in the trenches, all the other stuff really doesn't matter if you're not good on the lines of scrimmage. And we haven't been good on the offensive line. Not good enough to win in this league in quite some time.
No, not good enough. And also, just hopefully enough to make everybody want to work harder.
Well,
and help our
again, not to
quarterbacks
sound like a broken record again, but the most experienced position group on this coming team, offensive line. And you went out and you got some guys out of the portal that are going to help you immediately. So let's not have excuses about the offensive line. They should be able to go out and compete this year. Update as we do this show. Auburn baseball 19-0 in the 6th inning over Jack State. And Jack State's got a great program, and Auburn is just going off tonight as they get ready to play Ole Miss here in a few days. They will actually go over and start that series on Thursday. That'll be the final. I know you have a vested interest in that series, so hoping that Auburn wins that series.
Yeah, just a little personal series that people like to run their mouths to me.
There you go.
Sometimes I run them back. And
we won't name any names, right?
Now I need my Tigers to show up so I can keep running my mouth. Because while I'm hearing about how Ole Miss
we did in basketball this year. We showed up in basketball against them.
We did. Well, it was, but football's the only sport that matters.
Okay. Well, let's not bring up the history of that series. Here lately it's been better for them.
But just as I said the other day that Ole Miss is really good at their home runs, I'm hearing all about how they've had like 2 back-to-back home runs or whatever.
It's all right.
And guess what? Home runs go with strikeouts. I'm hoping that our pitching is going to be top tier, and we'll just be able to strike them out. No home runs. Nothing.
Right. I just got a text, and I haven't seen this either, but according to Baseball America, I mean, LSU number 1 in the country and Auburn number 2 now. Georgia in baseball. According to Baseball America, the graphic I just was sent. So I need to do a little bit of research on that before we get off and make sure that is accurate. But they've got LSU 1 now, Auburn 2 North Carolina 3, Georgia. Maybe that's where they think the top 25 is after this week. Maybe that's
Oh,
not the actual poll because I don't know. Anyway, I need to confirm that. So I just got that sent to me, and it was a pretty reputable source. So that's why I'm going to dig into it here in just a little bit. But anyway, some more partners here on our program. Sure Shot in Alexander City.
Sure Shot, right up 280 from Auburn. They've got firearm apparel, hunting needs, everything that you need. They sell and trade new and used firearms. They've got safes. They've got the classes for handguns. They've got it all. And just like we like to say, hospitality. Nope, not hospitality.
Well, they got good hospitality too.
Okay.
Customer service.
Customer service. Hello. Come
There
on.
you go.
Long day over here. It's not 8 o'clock in the morning. It's
Did you say
was that-
blonde day or long day?
long day.
Okay. long
Friday
day.
is going to be blonde day. Okay. Anyway, but Sure Shot, seriously, they've got all your outdoor hunting needs, everything. Great customer service. Scott's going to be able to help you out with anything you need. So call on them at 256-329-0080.
Yeah, go check out Sure Shot, man. Those guys are really awesome. We appreciate them so much. And Oliver Ross.
Oliver Ross, if you have a convention of 20,000 people, you don't want to be having to bartend for all 20,000. If that were me, I would lose my mind. And then you can't even enjoy your party. Or if it's anything sorority, fraternity, all those kind of date parties, anything all the way down to just a small private party of 20 people, you can have Oliver Ross bartend for you, and they are certified licensed bartenders that are going to be able to take care of you without you making a mess. Stick to the professionals.
Yeah, stick to the professionals. I mean, we say that all the time. Don't do stupid stuff and don't look like an idiot at your own party. Just call on Oliver Ross and they'll make you look like you know what you're doing. I did just verify this, Faith. I went to Baseball America, and Auburn is number 2 in the country now behind LSU. So LSU and Auburn sit at the top of the – this is one of the highest rankings I can remember, Auburn baseball.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Now, there's a bunch – let me just say this. There's a bunch of polls. There's probably 4 or 5 different polls out there that you can go off of. But Baseball America is a pretty prominent poll, and they've got LSU, Auburn, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida State. And Auburn swept LSU earlier this year.
I know.
So now Auburn got swept by Georgia and Texas. But you know, there's Arkansas sitting at number 7. Vanderbilt has crept up to number 10. Florida, who started off horrific, has moved up to 13. Alabama is up to number 16. Tennessee has fallen down to 18. They just keep dropping and dropping. And then Ole Miss comes in at 22. So the Auburn Tigers will be heading to Oxford, Mississippi as the number 2 team, Faith, in the country.
And they should be scared, those little rebels.
I'm
serious. I need them to win the series at least because I can't do any of this. I can't deal with it.
Can't deal with it. All right. Golf real quick. Golf dominating this regional.
How much fun did we have today at golf?
I had a great time.
I mean, yesterday.
Well, it technically is today, but as people watch,
you're so good about it, but I can't.
It's hard to go into the future, isn't it? But yeah, we had a great time.
We had so much fun at golf. There was a lot of people there. I was shocked. I was slacking on the job. I was getting a little bit of my sun in while.
Yeah, I looked down and I'm like, you looked at me and said, I'm just going to try to get a little tan going here because the sun was out and it was really, really nice. You know, it was supposed to be raining today.
Yeah, we were right on that 18th hole. So we got to talk to people coming off and got to see how everybody kind of finished out. And We had a lot. We just had a lot of fun. We need to do that
We
more
did.
often.
Well, don't twist my
But
arm. Don't twist my arm to go to the golf course.
yeah,
So
we had a ton of fun though, and the guys were really nice. We got to catch up with some of them after, like we kind of talked about earlier. But
Carson really had a great day yesterday. He shot
yeah,
5 under, shot 1 under day one, but shot 5 under. He had the low score for round two. But Auburn's got 3 guys stacked in there in the top three. I mean, because you got the guy from Kennesaw State at 1, then you got
mhm.
Jackson at 2, and then Brendan and Carson both tied at 3 there at -6. So they've got 3 there sandwiched in the top 4 guys, all back to back to back. And
And they're not slowing down either.
No,
When
no.
catching up with them, their whole goal is to win this thing, not just make it through. Everyone else is trying to just qualify and make it to the next round. Auburn is saying, "Hey, we're going to win this. Then we're going to go to California and win that too."
I love the mentality. And Coach Kleiner, he said that. I mean, if you go
Mhm.
watch the clip that we pushed out yesterday, he pretty much said, look, these guys are ranked in the top 20 in the world. They belong at the top of the leaderboard. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and we're here to win. He said, we're not here to qualify. We're here to win. That's been basically his statement for the last few weeks, is that we're not satisfied just moving on. We want to we not only want to win, but we want to dominate, and they are dominating. They're at 19 under as they get ready to tee off for day number 3 here this morning. There's only one other team in red numbers, and that's Texas A&M, and they're -1. So Auburn has an 18-stroke lead going into day 3. And as you heard Carson say yesterday, he said, we're going to see how many birdies we can stack up and see how much further out we can get this lead to.
A great mentality and a very competitive mindset. And after, I don't even know who, I think it might have been Carson that was asked, but it's not just a competition between the teams collectively, but seeing your teammates' names on the leaderboard as well it's not only a big congratulations to Coach Kleiner and how well he has coached them, but also, you want to be, most people want to always be the best and want to win and stuff. And Carson was saying that it's great seeing his other teammates on the board, because that just pushes each other even more. Because think about the competition between all of the guys, and they're secure enough in their game and everything that they're not thinking, oh my gosh, they're passing me, whatever. It's not, I'm not as good. No, it's okay. This is benefiting the team, but how can I do better? What can I do more? And I think that's just a great mindset to have.
It is. I love what he said there that you just recapped, and they really aren't even worried about the other teams. They're competing against each other just like they do. And I think Jackson said, we played this course 100 times, and we approach it like it's just another day of us out here qualifying against each other. And they talked about the pin placement being a little bit tougher. Some things so this is not just he said hey, look, places that we haven't really ever seen before. So Auburn, no different than all these other teams, a lot of things that you got to get used to in a regional tournament that maybe you don't see on a daily basis when it's your home course. So, but Auburn 19 under, Texas A&M -1, New Mexico State's even, and everybody else is in plus numbers. UCLA at +2, Georgia Tech at +4, Purdue +7, on down the line. The top 5 will qualify to move on to the national tournament. So if that ended after today, it would be Auburn, Texas A&M, New Mexico State, UCLA, and Georgia Tech moving on out of this regional. But got a whole nother day to play today. We'll see how it all shakes out. But Auburn in the driver's seat, don't want to get comfortable, want to go out and shoot another really good round. They had, and Coach Kleiner, I will say this one more thing that I thought Coach Kleiner said. He wasn't trying to be negative, but he said, we got to have a little bit more help from the back of the lineup. We got some guys that are really shooting well right now, really playing well, Jackson and Brendan and Carson. But, it's all about how this, you got to really – everybody's got to score well when you get to nationals to give yourself a chance. So we'll see how it all plays out. But Auburn's sitting in good shape. We did have a lot of fun yesterday, Faith. I enjoyed that. So go check our interviews out on our Instagram page and see who we caught up with there, Carson, Jackson, and Coach Kleiner. All right, but last thing that we'll talk about, again, it was kind of a little fun deal that Auburn Undercover did a few weeks ago. And a fan survey. What do the fans think? We always get jacked up and excited. And, this time of year we start, drinking the Kool-Aid for our team and building ourselves up, figuring out how we're going to win 9 or 10 games. We say we're not going to get caught up in all that stuff, but we always do. So what do some of the fans think? What do we think about some of it? We're not going to go through every one of these, but right out of the gate, how many games will Auburn win in the regular season coming up? And how many times have you and I talked about this over the last 2 months?
My ears are bleeding. I'm just kidding.
I think you do have. Yeah. No, that's just a lie. I'm sorry.
You're on one with the jokes tonight.
I mean, it's usually you at night.
I know.
It's usually you on a heater, but I had to kind of step up. It's been a long day.
I'm boring tonight.
No, you're not boring. I didn't say that. You see,
okay.
That's y'all are good at putting words in people's mouths.
Y'all as in who, ladies?
You ladies, yes. If you want me to go ahead, you know it. Did I say anything about that?
Let's cook Brett in the comments, please.
Yeah, go ahead and cook me.
I'm gonna tell Kim.
She's used to it. Yeah, she just ignores what I say.
Okay, Brett, how many games are we gonna win in the regular season?
Well, haven't me and you talked about this? Didn't we say 8 to 9?
Yep.
That's what we feel like going over the schedule.
People think too.
The leading number is 9, 35%. And then 8 comes in at 33%. There's 20% thinks we're going to win 10. I like that. I'm glad that the lower numbers are the ones with fewer percent, because if we're down around 7 and 6, I don't really want to deal with it anymore. Just going to be honest with you. It's going to suck. All right. Here's another good one. Where will Auburn finish in the SEC? So, where is Auburn going to finish in your opinion, Faith? We won't say what the fans said, but where do you think Auburn is going to finish 1 to 16 in the SEC? Where are they going to fall?
I said earlier when we were doing it, I said 4.
Okay. I think I said 5.
I had us at 5. I had us at 5, but I switched us to 4 because I said we need to be above Ole Miss. So you have us at 5.
I do have us at 5. Yeah, here's my notes. I do have us at 5. That's exactly right. So
well, good, because I think the people had the same exact idea as us.
I love it. We're all on the same page. Okay. Here's
okay.
Buckle your seatbelt. What will Auburn's record be against Georgia and Alabama? We're so sick of this. It's been 0-2 for too long. What is it going to be this year? Legitimately, take the bias out. Honest opinion right now from Faith Richardson here on this Wednesday morning. What is Auburn's record against Georgia and Alabama this year? Just throw it out there.
I literally would just reply back to you with the phrase I've been saying all day today.
Just don't. I've heard that all day, and it's like, man, really?
But I can't. If we go 0-2, seriously, Brad.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Don't say it.
I will lose my mind.
Yes, you can say that part. Only 14% think we're going to go 0-2. 60 overwhelmingly, the majority said that we're going to go 1-1. I think that's correct. I think we'll go 1-1. I'm not going to
You
say
have
which
to for
one.
my
We've already said which one, but I'm not going to bring that back up. You'll have to guess if you just now are finding us on Auburn Blitz. All right. Who will Auburn's leading rusher be? We already know who the starting quarterback has been named to be by Coach Freeze, Jackson Arnold. So that's really a mute issue at this point. Who will Auburn's leading rusher be this year?
I think it's going to have to be Damari, but yeah.
I think it's – I really
No
think
ifs,
this is a
ands, or
no-brainer.
buts.
I think this is a no-brainer. Now, I think Darrell Robinson – nobody – I mean, the least amount of votes went to Darrell Robinson, but I think people may be underselling him a little bit. We'll see. A bigger back from Connecticut. We'll see how that all plays out. Just a couple more, and then we will close it out here on this Wednesday morning. But who will Auburn's leading receiver be? Now, this one is going to be, I mean, the obvious choice is who everybody –
Cam.
Yep, Cam. But outside – let's take Cam out. Who will be the next leading receiver? That's not a question. So we're going to change that around. Who is the next leading receiver for Auburn? So Cam, we feel like is going to be the leading receiver. Is it Eric Singleton, Malcolm Simmons, Perry Thompson, Sam Turner, Horatio Fields, any of those guys? Who are you thinking is the number 2 receiver on this team? Or do you think one of them will have more receiving yards than Cam Coleman? I guess I can throw that out there while we're having.
I don't think any of them are going to have more receiving yards than Cam.
Better watch Eric Singleton. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, I think Eric Singleton is definitely going to be right up there with him. But he's got a ton of talent. And I hope to see the ball in Malcolm's hands a lot too. And I think we will. But I think Eric Singleton is going to be right up there with Cam.
Yeah, no doubt. But the 3 we just named right there, how dynamic are those guys?
Insane.
I mean, then you add Horatio Fields and Perry Thompson to the mix and Sam Turner, which leads me to the next question. Who will Auburn's most impactful freshman be on offense? Will it be Sam Turner or will it be, let's say, Alvin Henderson? Or will it be somebody else? Who will be the most impactful freshman on the offensive side of the ball?
If Jackson Arnold were to, and I'm not saying he will, but just completely not do what I think we thought that he would do, or if he
I have another phrase for that, but I'm not going to say it.
But I think Deuce could take that away. And again, we wish no injuries on anybody, and also we want Jackson Arnold to do well. But I think, again, I've said it multiple times, he's one play away from being benched.
Well, I mean, right. Or you're always one play away from being hurt.
Yeah, but I don't want to ever say that.
I'm just saying, but that's the reality of it. You're just one snap away from not being out there. Let's just be honest about it. So,
okay. Well, anyway, I think it could be Deuce.
Okay, Deuce Knight could be the most impactful freshman.
But we've also talked about how well Sam Turner was and how well he performed at practice and everything. And I mean, we were shocked he didn't even look like a freshman.
I know what you're going to say on this next one, so prove me right.
Okay.
The most impactful freshman on defense.
Come on.
I knew where
that IQ right there. That IQ cannot be taught.
He's good, man. I'm telling you, he has a chance. And I know he's playing a very difficult position at safety, especially in this league. But this guy is not like other freshmen.
No,
he's just not, man.
Literally not at all. He's the read of this kid. He knows ball, and that's the only way that you can say it, other than just watching the way he can perform on the field, is that he knows what the heck is going on.
He does
At all times. So,
All right, so we're not going to go. That's going to be the last one we go through. But anyway, appreciate 24/7 putting that survey out. We had fun with that, and the fans did too. So we hit a few of those and gave our thoughts on that, and we agreed with some of them, and some of them we didn't. So I hope, for the most part, we're right on what we decided after looking at some of those. Want to be 8 or 9 wins. Want to be at least 1-1 against Georgia and Alabama. I mean, all of that's kind of trending in the direction we want to be. Want to finish either at least 4th or 5th in the SEC. So yeah, a good survey there, fun survey. All right, to wrap up here, a couple more of our partners here on the program. Love them to death. Old Number One Customs.
yes, again, don't DIY it for 2 years. Get it done by the professionals in 2 weeks with Old Number One Customs, whether it's going to be your bathroom or your kitchen. They're going to be in and out of there. Surprise your wife. Summer's coming up. Send her on a trip. Send her to the beach. Send her somewhere tropical while you're getting her kitchen done that she's wanted and talked about for so long. She'll love you even more.
She will. You can get tropical temperatures in Alabama, but you can't get the tropical feel. So she didn't want to stay around here. Send her somewhere nice. Why don't you give her a big surprise? 334-752-6162 to call on Old Number One Customs. Again, go find them on Instagram and Facebook and look at what they've done. Look at some of the samples of the houses that they've gone into and renovated. It's unbelievable. And also JFA Blue Plumbing.
JFA Blue Plumbing, easy number to remember, 844 JFA Blue. Having that Home Atlas water filter duo, that's going to be able to make sure every single faucet in your house has filtered water coming out of it. And that's so important to your health. You can never put a price pin on your health, and even not just yours, but your animals too. You're filling up their water bowl out of the faucet. Well, if you don't have a filter on it, you start to see that little ring of nasty, hard water, whatever it is. Disgusting.
No. It is. And they can come in, and the Atlas Duo Home water filter can be installed at $15.99. So come in, have it installed. If you want to do some financing, they can do that as well. And you don't have to put any money down, 0%. And you can't place a price on your health. So $15.99 is a small amount of money to be drinking purified water. So JFA Blue Plumbing.
Yeah.
844 JFA Blue. That is Faith's favorite phone number.
It's so easy to remember. If I can remember it, you surely should, because.
Absolutely. And I think you meant that at me because, yeah, I can.
Oh, no, not you.
One. No, I'm kidding. But I said you're rightfully so if you were aiming that at me because.
Well, yeah, I can't remember anything. You get texts from me at the most random times because if I don't say it now, I'm not going to say it at all. It's true.
Yeah, we help each other out with our forgetfulness. So, all right. Good stuff here. Auburn in round 3 today at golf be covering, or we will be covering that. We will be following that. Stay tuned to that. Auburn with a dominating lead. They want to continue to stretch that out and finish and win this regional and get ready to head out to California to compete for another national title. We'll be on the road headed to Wadley, Alabama to catch up with the number 6 player in the state of Alabama, according to 24/7, Jacquez Wilkes. Looking forward to that. We were in Booker T. Washington yesterday and enjoyed that trip with Marquez and Dylan. So that will be coming out very soon with On the Front Row with Faith. She keeps on reeling out all of these recruits are starting to know when Faith rolls onto campus, they know what's up. So that's a good thing. So we'll be on Wadley's campus today. Looking forward to that, Faith, and we'll be over there here in just a few hours. But again, we want to thank everybody for subscribing to our channel, passing the word along, all the likes. Please continue to spread the word, help us grow. And we can't say enough about that. And we love all the comments and all the interaction. Have do something great today. We say that every day when we sign off. Do
Be
something great
nice.
like that. Be nice, and then in the process have the
Best day ever.
and a big old